Incredible moment, Millionaire's breakdown leads to unexpected help from humble farmer revealed. The lights twinkled like stars above the expansive ballroom, a sea of tuxedos and glittering gowns enveloping Ryan, the golden boy of Oakwood. With each confident step to the podium, a cool facade masked the turmoil inside him. Did they see the cracks beneath his designer suit? Did they know he was suffocating in the very success they admired? Tonight was about impressing investors, proving his worth, but the weight of expectations sat heavily on his shoulders. And then, it happened. Mid-speech, Ryan's voice broke. Tears brimmed, spilling over like the walls he had built for so long. The room fell silent. Gasps rippled through the crowd, their admiration morphing into uncertainty. In that vulnerable moment, an unlikely figure stepped forth: Sam, a sturdy man wearing well-worn jeans and a plaid shirt that seemed like a time capsule from a simpler life. Sam's farm sat just outside the pristine suburbs. He raised his hands, steady and calm, and said, "It's okay, Ryan. We all struggle sometimes." The words hung in the air, a balm to Ryan's raw honesty. The wealthy turned their heads, but there was something honest and pure in Sam's demeanor that demanded attention. For the first time, Ryan felt seen not as a millionaire, but as a man wrestling with himself. As the night carried on, whispers grew, but Ryan was fixated on Sam. After the gala, they sat together, laughter and tales weaving through the tension. Sam spoke of his soil, planting seeds come spring, of nurturing life amidst relentless storms. Ryan found himself drawn to Sam's authenticity, a reminder of the values he'd cast aside in pursuit of a hollow dream. In the days that followed, their friendship deepened. They shared coffee at a local diner, the buzzing chatter surrounding them a stark contrast to the whisper-thin air of high society. But deep down, Ryan clung to the gaping void he felt with his estranged family, who viewed material success as lack of character. Would they ever understand him? Then, disaster struck. A storm descended on Sam's farm, winds howling like angry spirits, rain lashing everything in its path. Ryan watched in horror as news unfolded of the destruction threatening Sam's crops. His heart raced: bail out the farmer or keep impressing the highbrows back in Oakwood? Everybody knew you shouldn't mix with those less than yourself. The thought echoed in his mind, loaded with social consequences. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The storm grew restless, and so did Ryan's heart. As he paced in his lavish office, staring out the window, memories of laughter at the diner echoed. Could he truly redefine success? He fought against the tide of society's expectations, battling the question that lingered: was wealth merely a number, or could character and connection be what made life rich? Ryan understood now that his ties to class were not just ropes of privilege, they could be the very chains that held him back. With a weighty decision looming, he felt the stirrings of something new and awakening. Would he choose the safe path of opulence, or step into the storm alongside a friend who had shown him what it meant to truly live? As the rain poured down, so too did the walls around his heart, crumbling like the crops outside, leaving behind the raw truth that real success might just be about helping someone else. Ryan stood there, frozen in the glow of his office light. The storm raged in the distance. Every second felt heavy, each heartbeat pounding in his chest like a war drum. The choice was clear, yet terrifying. Doing the right thing rarely was. He glanced at his phone, the screen lit up with messages from investors, invitations to gatherings where hollow laughter was exchanged over fine wine. They would expect him to play the role. But as his eyes flickered to the window, where sheets of rain blurred the landscape into chaos, he could only think of Sam. Without a second thought, he grabbed his coat. The storm whipped through the streets, but Ryan felt a sense of urgency pushing him beyond the confines of his comfortable world. He drove fast, the windshield wipers struggling against the downpour, the tires splashing through puddles that mirrored his turbulent thoughts. What would he find at the farm? Would it be too late? Darkness loomed, not just in the sky but in his spirit as well. As he arrived, the sight that greeted him was heartbreaking. The fence surrounding Sam's property bowed under the weight of the wind, a few wooden planks splintered and scattered across the muddy field. Ryan parked hastily and jumped out, mud splattering against his shoes. He could hear the distant roar of thunder and the frantic cries of animals hidden within the barns. "Sam," he shouted, voice straining against the wind, but the sound was swallowed up by the storm, a remorseless beast. Panic tightened his chest. He pressed on, slipping through the wet ground until he reached the barn. The door creaked open, revealing Sam, soaked to the bone, battling against the elements to secure the livestock. The sight struck Ryan. There was no pretense, just a man caring for his family, his land. "Ryan. What are you doing here?" Sam's voice, a combination of surprise and concern, cut through the noise. I came to help," Ryan said, swallowing hard against the shame that threatened to rise. "I can't just stand by." Together, they worked in the storm, a partnership born out of shared humanity rather than status or wealth. Ryan was clumsy at first, slipping with each step, but Sam showed him the ropes. Each moment spent shoulder to shoulder transformed the cold reality of the storm into something astonishingly warm. As the rain fell, laughter erupted between the claps of thunder. They were just two friends battling the tempest together. Hours blurred by, and finally, they managed to secure the last of the animals against the raging storm. Both men stood there, breaths ragged, panting in exhaustion. Sam, despite his soaked appearance, looked triumphant. "We did it," he said, a smile breaking through the darkness. The simple moment struck Ryan hard. It was raw and real, unlike any hollow accomplishment he had ever felt in his life. But something more was bubbling within him, a realization. As he looked around, surveying the wreckage that lay before them, a spark ignited. This was the moment that marked a change for him. Helping Sam felt more profound than any business deal. He wanted to rebuild, not just for Sam, but with him. Just then, a glimmer of hope appeared through the rain. Ryan pulled out his phone, newly charged with inspiration. "Let us post about this," he suggested, excitement sparking in his voice. "We can crowdsource help for the farm. We can reach others who want to make a difference, just like we did." But before Sam could respond, a powerful gust knocked over a nearby tool shed, its crash echoing through the air. Ryan's heart dropped again, the reality of calamity bearing down on them both. "Ryan, this is going to take more than a few posts," Sam said, concern creeping back into his eyes. "It's going to be a long road." Ryan nodded, still grasping the larger vision forming in his mind. Could this storm be a turning point, not just for Sam, but for himself as well? The night wasn't over, and neither were the challenges they faced. But as they stood there, hearts racing and minds swirling with what came next, the storm that raged outside was nothing compared to the stirrings within Ryan. Whatever was about to happen next, he knew one thing for certain: standing by the farmer might end up changing both of their lives forever. The sound of the tool shed crashing down echoed in Ryan's ears, drowning out his thoughts. The rain continued to pour, relentless and unforgiving. He could feel the weight of the storm pressing down on both of them, heavier than the debris that littered the ground. Ryan turned to Sam, determination flooding through him. "You're right. This isn't just a post or a couple of clicks. We need a plan." His heart raced, not from fear, but from a rush of adrenaline and purpose. Sam's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of hope mingling with skepticism. "It'll take more than we can muster alone. The farm is more than just this storm. It's a lifetime of work." "There are people out there," Ryan insisted, "people who care. We just have to reach them." He wiped rain from his face, the frigid drops a contrast to the warmth that blossomed in his chest. For the first time in a long while, he felt alive. Sam studied him, the skepticism still lingering. "You think they care about a small farm struggling in the middle of nowhere?" "Yes," Ryan said, the word bursting from him like a dam finally breaking. "We show them what's happening here. They see it's not just about land. It's about people, community, resilience, everything that matters." "What about all the challenges?" Sam asked, his brows knitted together. "This isn't just a quick fix. The storm might have brought this to a head, but it's an ongoing struggle." Ryan took a deep breath, rallying his thoughts. "Let us show them how hard you've worked," he said slowly. "Let us share the story of this farm. Of you." He could feel the pulse of the storm matching the beat of his hope. Sam shifted his weight, looking at the barn now filled with secure animals that were breathing heavily but safe. The storm might have battered them down, but together they had risen. "All right, let's do it," he finally said. "But we need to be honest." "Absolutely. No sugarcoating," Ryan affirmed. "Just the truth. The struggle and the spirit. That's what will connect with people." As the winds howled around them like angry spirits, they huddled close beneath the barn's overhang, plotting out their plan. Words flowed freely between them as they discussed ideas, images, and stories that might resonate. For each idea shared, Ryan felt a layer of his old life peel away, revealing genuine excitement for something greater than his old corporate self. Just then, the power of nature roared louder. A particularly violent gust slammed into the barn, shaking the walls. Ryan's heart raced again, not out of fear this time, but because he realized each shake reverberated not just through the structure but through his very soul. But the storm wasn't just destruction, it was also a catalyst for change. "What if we include videos?" he proposed. "Real-time updates on how the farm is doing, the animals, your life here. Let people see what they're supporting." Sam nodded, eyes wide. "People like real stories, right? They see the struggle, they see hope it could work." Together, they began crafting a plan, whispering ideas that mingled with the wind. Ryan's heart began to pound, each beat a reminder of what this meant: rebuilding the farm, yes, but also rebuilding himself. As they finalized their outline, the rain began to lighten. The storm that had seemed invincible was finally losing its fury. With the worst behind them, the air felt charged, humming with possibility. "What comes next?" Sam asked, breaking their reverie. Ryan's mind raced with thoughts, but one thing stood out amid the chaos. "Next, we reach out to those who can help. We tell them our story and watch how it unfolds." The idea lit a fire in Sam's eyes, rekindling his own strength. "Let us do it," he said with newfound resolve. But just as they turned back toward the barn to start their effort, Ryan's phone buzzed in his pocket. The notification lit up his screen, a message from his investors urging him to return to their world of empty expectations. A sense of dread crept back in, the polished world waiting for him, demanding his attention. Would he slip back into that facade? Or could he really step into this new role beside Sam? Ryan paused, looking out into the darkened field around them, the remnants of the storm mingling with a clearer sky beginning to peek through. "I have to decide," he muttered, the weight of two lives pressing on his shoulders. With everything on the line, where would this path lead him? Would he stay in the storm's eye or return to the safety of his old life? He knew it wouldn't be easy, but as he met Sam's gaze, something deep inside told him it was time to step into the light for good. The sun emerged from behind the clouds, piercing through the murky gray and casting shimmering rays onto the drenched land. The world seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, but Ryan felt the weight on his chest only grow heavier. He held his phone tightly, the screen illuminating his face with the harsh reality of his former life. "Ryan?" Sam's voice was soft but firm, pulling him from his spiraling thoughts. I don't know." Ryan glanced at Sam, who was still catching his breath from the chaos of the storm. Maybe I should just respond. They want me back in the fold, and I could help the farm later. I mean, I have responsibilities, but at what cost? Sam challenged, crossing his arms. You know these people don't care about this place. They care about profits. You left that behind for a reason. Ryan stared down at the message again, his mind whirling with memories of board meetings and endless discussions of numbers. There was no fulfillment there, just a hollow echo of expectations. But I was good at it. It's secure. What if this, he gestured towards the farm, the barn, and all its battered beauty, is just a pipe dream? No, Sam interrupted, shaking his head. It doesn't feel like a dream. It feels real. I can see the passion in you. We can help this farm together. We need to do this. With each word, Sam's conviction ignited something within Ryan. Right, he said, his voice steadier. We'll reach out, we'll tell our stories, but what if no one listens? They will, Sam insisted. You just need to believe it. That flicker of hope took root in Ryan's heart, but doubt lingered. What if he put his faith in this new venture and it all fell apart? The sun finally peeked fully through the clouds, illuminating the fields around them. The raindrops sparkled like diamonds on the grass, revealing a beauty that the storm had momentarily obscured. Ryan looked at the land, the animals now slowly calming down from their earlier fright. There was resilience here, a determination that echoed the heartbeat of the farm. I can't do it alone, he admitted, feeling the warmth of vulnerability wash over him. You won't have to, Sam affirmed, his voice threading with the strength of a promise. We'll do this together, and we'll find others who want to help. Ryan could feel the clarity sharpen in his chest, like the rise of dawn after a long, dark night. All right, he said finally, determination painting his features. Let us do it. But we need support, people who want to see us thrive, not just survive. As they began to brainstorm ways to rally, the community phone calls, social media campaigns, even crafting a crowdfunding page, Ryan felt lighter, the burdens of doubt beginning to dissipate. Each idea formed a bridge out of his old life, guiding him into something brighter. Then, just as the excitement built, Ryan's phone buzzed again. This time, it was a call. He hesitated, glancing at Sam, who nodded encouragement. With a deep breath, he answered. Hello? Ryan. A familiar voice erupted through the speaker. I just heard about the storm. We have to talk. It was Michael, an old colleague from the investment firm. I'm worried about you leaving. This could be a huge mistake. Maybe that's the point, Ryan replied, surprising himself with the conviction in his voice. I'm done running from what matters. There was a beat of silence on the other end, interrupted only by the soft thrum of the rain still falling in the distance. Ryan felt a surge of adrenaline course through him, the realization that he wasn't ready to fall back into the trap of his past. We can help you, Michael insisted, his tone shifting. Don't throw in the towel yet. Just think about it. Ryan hesitated, a familiar tug-of-war battling inside him. I will, he managed, but even he could feel the uncertainty hanging in the air. When the call ended, Ryan sensed all eyes Sam's, and the farm's fixated on him, waiting for the next move. Do you think he can help? Sam asked, a quizzical expression on his face. Ryan swallowed hard, the connection to his old life still pulsing strongly, yet something new stirred in him. Clashing against the old. I don't know. But it could be our chance or my greatest mistake. The wind picked up again, rustling through the trees that stood guard around the farm. Ryan looked at Sam, the fire still burning in his eyes. But maybe I need to make that choice. What does it really mean to change? He felt it then, the weight of a decision looming near. Would he grasp this opportunity, risking everything? Or step back, choosing comfort over the unknown? The horizon began to shift. Change was coming. Would he brave the storms of uncertainty, or cling to the past that no longer fit him? As he stared into the distance, the deeper challenge loomed ahead. A chill ran through Ryan as he stood there, the weight of his choices heavy on his shoulders. The sun continued to shine brightly above, casting a stark contrast to the stormy turmoil brewing inside him. It felt like a clear reward for potential bravery, as if the world was daring him to leap into the unknown. "We need to get moving," Sam said, nudging Ryan back to the present. "Let us gather the people we trust. They'll want to help if they see how serious we are." Ryan nodded, trying to shake off the lingering doubts. The thought of reaching out felt like climbing a mountain, yet the view from the top beckoned. "You're right. We should start with the neighbors. They all have a stake in this. If we can show them our plan." As they meandered through the overgrown path to the nearest home, the vibrant colors of the fields awoke a surge of optimism in Ryan's heart. His mind turned to the faces of his neighbors, faces that had grown older while his own had lived in a different world, one filled with suits and deadlines. The first place they visited belonged to Mrs. Thompson, an elderly widow whose garden was known as the envy of the community. She welcomed them with warm smiles and a bread basket cradled in her arms, the smell filling the space with a sense of home. "Ryan. It's good to see you back," she exclaimed, her eyes twinkling with kindness. "How's that little farm coming along?" With Sam beside him, Ryan felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him. "Actually, we need your help, Mrs. Thompson. The storm has left us with a lot of repairs, and we want to revitalize the farm. Together, we can make a plan." She paused, her brow furrowing in thought. "You know that takes more than just elbow grease. The community is busy with their own things. They might not want to come out for what seems like an uphill battle." Ryan felt a knot tighten in his stomach, her words echoing the fears he'd been wrestling with. But as he looked into her eyes, he saw the flicker of hope. "That's exactly why we're asking everyone to make it a community effort. If we can show that we care, they'll want to help." Mrs. Thompson studied him for a moment, tapping her fingers against the table. "All right then. Let us get the word out," she said finally, determination filtering into her voice. "I'll make some calls. We can start a community meeting this weekend." As they left her home, Ryan felt a mix of exhilaration and anxiety building in him. Each step toward the next neighbor felt like pushing open a door to opportunity. Word spread quickly. They gathered at dusk, people from the surrounding farms joined in the fading light as the promise of unity started to shimmer. Ryan's heart raced as he watched his community come together, bonds strengthening with each conversation, laughter threading through the air. But when Ryan spotted Michael walking towards them, a sense of foreboding pulled him back. "What are you doing here?" he asked, anxious about the collision of two worlds. "I'm here to help, Ryan. I can bring the funds you need. But you have to think bigger. This isn't just about the farm. It's about the lifestyle and the tradition you have here." Ryan stood still, caught between two powerful forces. "And what's your angle?" he asked sharply, noticing Sam's glare shooting daggers at Michael. "Just trust me. You won't regret it," was the only response he got. As tension dipped in the air, Ryan glanced at Sam, reading the uncertainty in his friend's expression. This was getting complicated. Would he risk everything on the unexpected help of his past? Even as new faces filled the circle with hope, Ryan felt the struggle inside him intensify. The moment of truth loomed. What would happen if he allowed Michael back into his world, reshaping everything he has been fighting for? Tonight was just the beginning, and the darkness that came with choices awaited. Ryan took a deep breath, knowing he needed to decide what kind of life he truly wanted. As distant thunder rumbled, he wondered, could he redefine success on his terms, or was he destined to repeat old mistakes? The question hung heavy in the air, propelling him toward an uncertain future. The gathering broke into small groups, murmurs of excitement and skepticism weaving through the crowd. Ryan stood on the periphery, heart racing, as he watched faces light up with newfound purpose and determination. But Michael's presence loomed large, a shadow over the hopeful vibe. "What do you think?" Sam asked quietly, standing closely beside him. The warmth of Sam's shoulder felt reassuring against the weight Ryan was carrying. "I don't know," Ryan admitted, glancing toward Michael. "He seems genuine. But this is my farm, my home. I can't let anyone dictate the way forward now." "Then don't," Sam urged. "You know what this community needs. You need to show them that. Propose your vision before Michael gets the chance to twist it." Ryan inhaled deeply, a flash of clarity cutting through his doubts. He joined everyone under the fading light, a sea of familiar faces eager to listen. With each shared moment, he felt the weight on his heart lift slightly, the connections reminding him of shared bonds stronger than any storm. He cleared his throat, the evening air thick with anticipation as he began. "I appreciate you all coming together like this. The storm robbed us of more than just our crops, it took away our sense of community. But we can rise again. Together." Murmurs of agreement filled the air, and Ryan pressed on. "We need to repair the farm, yes, but we also need to repair ourselves to stand together as neighbors. I'm asking each of you to lend a hand, share ideas, and let us make this a community effort." As he spoke, he locked eyes with Mrs. Thompson, who nodded enthusiastically, her smile urging him on. He could hear his grandmother's voice in his head, reminding him how the spirit of the community never falters when it's tested. Then, surprisingly, Michael stepped forward. "That's a great start, Ryan. But if you really want to reach the next level, you'll need investment. I can offer you more than just help with repairs. Imagine revitalizing the farm into something sustainable that could draw others in." A ripple of skepticism spread through the crowd. "What do you mean?" someone called out. Michael smiled, but there was something unsettling in it. "A farm that doesn't just survive but thrives. A way to bring tourism, educate the community about farming practices, especially with climate change looming. I can help make that happen." Ryan felt a pit in his stomach. On one hand, he was tempted an upgrade could change everything. But there was something about Michael's ambition that felt wrong, like bait dangling before him. And what would that mean for his vision, his community? His thoughts swirled, drowning the enthusiastic voices around him. How could he do this alone, without losing what mattered most in the process? "Let us take it one step at a time," Ryan spoke up finally, unsure where the words were coming from but grateful for the grounding they provided. "Tonight is about community, about rebuilding trust. Let us get our hands dirty first. The future will unfold from there." A cheer erupted from the crowd, and Ryan felt the energy shift, a collective hope circulating amongst them. But beneath his surface of calm lay the fear of what Michael's involvement could truly entail. As darkness enveloped the sky, Ryan caught Sam's concerned glance. "You're going to have to think fast, Ryan. The stakes just got higher." Ryan nodded, understanding the battle ahead would be more confusing than he ever imagined. What would he sacrifice, his home, his friends, his very identity to make a thing of beauty from this ruined land? Questions echoed in his mind as the laughter faded, overshadowed by the weight of impending choices. And when he turned back to his friends, he knew the darkness was only just beginning. Was this unity built on a firm foundation, or was it a fragile facade, waiting to collapse under the weight of ambition? In the flickering light of the community gathering, Ryan prepared for the next clash. How could he navigate this web of alliances without losing his own way? Ryan awoke the next morning with the sun filtering through his bedroom window, painting stripes of light across the walls. The warmth felt good, but it couldn't chase away the weight still pressing on his chest. He lay there, listening to the rustle of the farm outside, the familiar sounds of roosters crowing and the distant hum of a tractor. But today, those sounds felt distant, almost ghostly. He slipped out of bed, debating what the day would hold. His intention was to get the community together again, but how? Michael's words echoed in his mind, swirling around the hope he had felt just last night. Revitalize. What did that really mean for him, and more importantly, for the people he cared about? With a quick breakfast, Ryan headed outside, determined to gather his thoughts. As he stepped onto the porch, he paused, letting the crisp morning air fill his lungs. The farm needed care, and so did its people. He decided to tackle both. His first stop was to check on the repairs needed from the storm. As he walked toward the barn, he noticed a group of kids playing near the edge of the property. They were laughing, their joy contagious. A smile crept onto his face. It reminded him of the simple things he loved about the farm, its promise of life and community. "Hey kids!" he called out, waving them over. "Mr. Ryan!" They shouted in unison, rushing toward him. "Are you excited about helping today?" he asked, kneeling so he was eye level with them. 100%. Shouted Jason, a boy with messy hair and a missing front tooth. "We want to help fix up everything just like superheroes." Ryan chuckled. "Superheroes, huh? Well, every superhero needs a plan. How about we draw up some ideas? And maybe we can have a barbecue after, to celebrate our hard work?" The kids cheered, their excitement infectious. It was just what Ryan needed to divert his tangled thoughts. In that moment, he felt the glimmer of strength in unity. Could it be as easy as calling on the young ones to lead? After parting ways with the children, Ryan gathered a clipboard and headed back into the house to write down his thoughts. He created a list of tasks, both for repairing the crops and for setting up a community event. There was something stirring in him, a creative spark intertwined with responsibility. As he jotted down ideas, he caught a glimpse of Sam walking up the path, a worried look on his face. "You've been busy, huh?" Sam said, leaning against the door. "I'm trying," Ryan replied, running a hand through his hair. "But you know how fast Michael moves. If I don't act now, he might just sweep everyone away with his plans. Have you thought about getting everyone involved in a brainstorming session?" Sam suggested, his brow furrowed. "Then the project can truly reflect our community." Ryan nodded. "I like that. If we can all share in this, maybe we'll find a better path forward, one that doesn't lead us directly into Michael's grasp." "Do it, then," Sam urged, setting a reassuring hand on Ryan's shoulder. "You've got this." Ryan stood up straighter, fueled by Sam's confidence. "All right. Let us make it happen. We need to rally everyone again, show them that this farm isn't just a place, it's our home." As they walked out towards the town center, each step felt more secure. Yet the nagging worry still lingered, like a vague shadow at the back of his mind. Would their ideas be strong enough to withstand Michael's ambitions? As the sun climbed higher, casting warmth over the land, Ryan knew he had to act fast. This wasn't just about crops, it was about their future, their community, and the legacy he hoped to build. And as they arrived at the empty hall, he turned to Sam with determination. "Let us call for a meeting. It's about time everyone understands what's at stake before it's too late." The fate of the farm and perhaps of himself hung in the balance. What would they discover in that meeting? What alliances would form, and would they be strong enough to combat the ambition looming over them? Ryan adjusted the worn wooden podium in the center of the town hall, taking a deep breath as he surveyed the room. It was sparse at first, the rustling of chairs and low murmur of conversations blending together, creating an atmosphere thick with uncertainty. But, as people began to file in, neighbors, friends, and the few remaining farmers who had held on through tough seasons, he felt that familiar spark of hope. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his voice steady even as the nervous energy coursed through him. He glanced at Sam, who stood nearby, a reassuring nod from him igniting Ryan's resolve. "We need to talk about our future, our farm, our community. We've all seen the changes coming in, and we can't let it happen without a fight." Murmurs rippled through the room. A few people nodded in agreement, while others shifted in their seats, unease palpable in the air. Ryan continued, I believe we can revitalize what we have here. And that starts with all of us. Every single voice matters. The group was slowly warming to his words. He shared his vision, laid out the projects he had in mind for the farm, and spoke of ways they could work together to bring their community back to life. The barbecue had been a small idea, but now it seemed to flourish into something bigger, an actual community event. We'll paint the barn, restore the playground, even garden together. And then, capped off by a great barbecue. We're in this together, not just for ourselves, but for our kids, and for generations to come. A tentative hand shot up at the back. It belonged to Mrs. Caldwell, one of the older residents. What about Michael? She asked, concern etched on her brow. Ryan paused, the emotion gathering within. I know he's got money and resources, but we have something he doesn't. Our roots here, our stories, our resilience. A soft murmur of agreement swept through the crowd. The tension began to ease, and Ryan felt that familiar warmth of hope building within him again. As he motivated them further, someone else chimed in, but it's going to take work. What if we fall short? What if we succeed? Ryan challenged back, the energy shifting as he ignited their imaginations. What if this place becomes a beacon of hope? Everybody here can shape that future. All we need is to show up. With that, the room started to buzz with ideas. Sam's voice was among them, pitching in suggestions, and soon others joined, talking over each other with laughter and enthusiasm. Ryan felt his heart lift with every shared thought, an electrifying sense of unity sparking among the group. Hours flowed by, filled with laughter, camaraderie, and a shared belief that they could push back against Michael's looming plans. Yet, as the meeting dispersed, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Outside, as the sky darkened and stars began to peek through, Ryan caught sight of Michael's sleek car in the distance, headlights slicing through the quiet night. The reality hit him like a cold wave. The battle was only just beginning. What is he doing here? Ryan murmured softly, his heart raced. Would Michael come to disrupt their plans or, perhaps, confront him directly? With determination fueling him, Ryan stepped into the night with courage growing inside. For the first time, it felt like they were all standing as one against an approaching storm, but what would Michael specifically have to say? Would he crack under pressure, or would there be an unexpected twist waiting for them all? Ryan walked across the pavement, each step echoing the weight of the evening's earlier enthusiasm. The air was cool, slightly damp with the promise of rain. His heart raced not just from uncertainty but from adrenaline, the thrill of change mingling with fear of confrontation. What would Michael have to say? Would he try to intimidate them, throw threats into the air like fireworks? As he approached the sleek car, its engine humming softly, Ryan noticed the tension etched across Michael's face. The man leaned against the door, arms crossed tightly, unable to mask the arrogance that usually accompanied him. But tonight, something was different. There was a flicker of desperation in his eyes, a cloud of frustration hanging thick around him. Ryan, Michael greeted, voice smooth but with an edge of irritation. Nice little gathering you had tonight. He gestured dismissively toward the town hall, as if the warmth inside was nothing but smoke and mirrors. What do you want, Michael? Ryan asked, keeping his voice steady. The millionaire ran a hand through his carefully styled hair, a gesture that made Ryan flicker at the man's overwhelming sense of self-importance. I wanted to remind you that change is coming. You can't hold back the tide. Trying to appeal to sentiment? That's a losing game. Ryan stood taller, pushing back against the doubt creeping in. We're not backing down. You underestimate what this community means to us. We have something that money can't move. Passion won't pay the bills, Michael shot back, irritation spilling into his words. I've got plans that will make this place thrive. You'll see. Plans that will drive us out, Ryan countered. You think your money can plant roots in this land? It's the people who make a community. Silence stretched between them, heavy like a thundercloud. Ryan held his ground, his chest rising with each breath, resolute. But then, unexpectedly, Michael shifted. He released a tense breath and uncrossed his arms, as if facing Ryan fully for the first time. You don't get it, he said, quieting his earlier bravado. I've lost everything I thought mattered. I tried to reclaim it, but all I keep finding is loss. This place, it's different. His eyes flickered with a vulnerability Ryan had never seen before. What are you saying? Ryan asked, cocking his head slightly. Michael hesitated, swallowing hard. I wasn't raised here like you. I can't understand what you folks feel. But what if I could? Ryan's heart raced again, but not from agitation. What do you mean? He pressed. I want to work together, Michael finally said, the admission rushing out in a single breath. If you're serious about making this a community again, I want in. I can offer resources, connections. You just need to show me how it's done. The calm conviction in Michael's voice made Ryan blink. It was an unexpected allyship, a stark contrast to everything they had been fighting against. But could he trust him? Why the change? Ryan asked, wary, yet intrigued. Because somewhere deep down, I know it's not just about profits. It's about purpose. Michael met Ryan's gaze, vulnerability now flickering alongside determination. Caught off guard, Ryan felt a rush of hope. Could it be true? Or was this just another ploy? Let me think about it, Ryan replied cautiously. As they stood face to face, the cool night air filled with an unspoken tension, a new possibility began to unfold. The battle lines blurred, and uncertain alliances loomed ahead. Could they turn a potential enemy into an unexpected ally? Take your time, but remember. The storm is coming, Michael warned, stepping back toward his car. You'll need all the help you can get. Ryan watched the taillights fade into the dark night, his mind racing with possibilities. Just when he thought the universe had played all its cards, everything shifted again. What would they choose to build together, understanding or conflict? Would they unite against common challenges, or would old grudges seep back in, poison the air? The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear, change was coming, and they had to be ready for whatever came next. The sun rose slowly the next morning, cascading golden light over the drenched fields, illuminating the remnants of the storm. Ryan stood alone outside, breathing in the fresh scent of earth kissed by rain. He felt a surge of optimism mixed with trepidation as yesterday's conversation lingered in his mind. Michael's unexpected offer hung in the air like the lingering mist, still clouded in uncertainty but with a glimmer of possibility. Hey, you, Sam called from behind, arms crossed, a friendly smirk lingering on his face. You ready to face the day? Heard the fearless leader is supposed to rally everyone again. Ryan turned, appreciating the lightness Sam brought. Yeah, I've got a lot on my mind, though. What if Michael's right? What if we do need help even if it comes from him? Sam tilted his head slightly. Have you thought about what it would mean? Working with someone who represents everything you've been against. Ryan nodded slowly, the weight of his words pressing down. I know. Trust is hard, but was I any more trustworthy when I was just chasing money? Touché, Sam said, a hint of a smile creeping back onto his face. But it's more than money now, isn't it? It's about connection. Ryan gazed out at the fields, hope filling him like the early morning sun. Maybe I can show Michael what it means to belong. To truly connect with the land, the people. They walked together toward the barn, determination igniting in Ryan's heart. He knew they had to act quickly, gather the community and push forward, with or without Michael's help. But he felt a stirring within, a belief that perhaps there was still room for unity, even among differing ideals. Community members began to trickle in, drawn by the promise of teamwork and the smell of fresh coffee that filled the air. Laughter and chatter quickly filled the barn, and as faces turned toward Ryan, he felt a swell of pride. "Thank you all for coming together," he began, meeting the eyes of familiar friends and neighbors. "We've all been through so much, and I know the past few weeks have been tough. But together, we have an opportunity. We can rebuild, not just the farm, but our community." As he spoke, he felt the energy in the room shift. He shared ideas for the projects they could undertake, shared plans for his vision, expressing that every person here mattered. And just as he was gaining momentum, someone raised a hand. "Are we really ready to take Michael's help?" It was Mrs. Caldwell again, her concern echoing throughout the barn. Ryan paused, weighing his words. "That's a fair question. But let us ask ourselves, what do we want? And how do we ensure our values aren't compromised?" The room buzzed with conversation, everyone contemplating Ryan's plea. Moments passed, uncertainty flickering across faces. But amidst the doubts, he could feel that patchwork of trust begin to weave itself back together. Then, to his surprise, Jason, the same boy who had declared himself a superhero, interrupted the hesitation. "I think we should let him try. He could bring money, and we could build something better." Encouragement rippled through the crowd. Sam, standing at Ryan's side, chimed in. "Let us start small, see if he can follow through on the real community spirit. And if he tries to change things too fast, we can still set him straight." Ryan felt a wave of support wash over him. This was not just his fight anymore, it belonged to everyone in that barn. "Okay," he agreed, looking at each of their faces, grounding himself. "Let us reach out to Michael but remain true to who we are. We'll do things our way. Together." With hearts rallying and spirits igniting, the crowd erupted in applause. Plans were made, roles assigned, and a compendium of efforts emerged, blending their ideas into a powerful net of community support. As they began discussing their plans for revitalization, the barn felt alive, the energy transforming it into a haven of hope. Hours passed, filled with laughter, drawings, and conversations as they laid out their community goals. By the time the meeting ended, each member felt invested, the vision of their future clearer than ever. This was the boundless joy of humanity. They were moving beyond mere survival into the realm of thriving. As people began to leave, Ryan felt a sense of peace settle inside him. He could see the excitement in their eyes, the hope rekindled. They would stand together, against the storm, against any odds. Just as Ryan turned to leave, his phone buzzed in his pocket. It was a message from Michael. "Let us talk," it said. His heart raced, but this time not in fear. He felt empowered. The tide was shifting, the storm was not just an end but a new beginning. Ryan took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever was next. Life had twisted and turned, but one undeniable truth remained: he would stand by his community, forging a new identity amid uncertainty, always prioritizing connection over competition. As he watched the sun dip below the horizon, a profound realization enveloped him. At its core, success was not a solitary dream, it was born from kinship, from shared struggles and shared triumphs. And for the first time, Ryan felt truly whole, ready to walk into whatever tomorrow would bring. Make a change in your own life, too. Remember, each effort counts. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories, because you need to stay connected to these journeys. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It matters. Comment your reactions and feelings about this transformative journey. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this change. Don't wait not even one more second to share with those who care. Together, we can inspire others.